Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to take a backup of your database by exporting the entire database into a single SQL file. This is a great way to keep a copy of your database before you make any drastic changes to your database. Also, it's a nice way to share your database with your team members who might want to recreate the exact database that you have been using for your project, for instance. Now, before we get started, I'm going to assume that you currently have a database with some tables and some data in those tables. So in this particular example, I am showing the project database that you used for your homework, and each of these tables have the data that you used in your homework. Now, to export all these tables and the content in those tables, go to the Tools menu, click on Export Database as SQL. You can see a number of options in this dialog box. On the left hand side, you have a number of items that you can possibly export. For instance, here you can choose specific tables to export, but you can also choose the entire database to export, and that's usually the most common operation. You often want to export your entire database. So let's go ahead and select that for this demo. Then turn to the right hand side to the SQL Export tab. It also has a number of options, including options to create and drop tables. Now, don't worry about the options to create and drop databases. If you drop your database, you would not be able to recreate it because you don't have the privileges to do that on the teaching server. But you can certainly go ahead and click these options, that is to create and drop tables. Now, to understand what these options do, it's important to understand how exporting and importing database works in MySQL. When you export a database, HeidiSQL and actually MySQL creates a SQL file that contains individual commands to construct your database. So it would have commands like create certain tables, create these tables. It would have commands to drop certain tables if they already existed. Now, these options let you specify that. So if you select this drop option, what this will do is it will create commands in your SQL file to drop let's say a project table if that project table already existed on your database in which you are trying to run the exported file. So go ahead and select the drop table. It will make sure that all your created tables are new, all your data is in the new tables. Now selecting that would automatically select the create option. So we want both of these options checked. Now on the next line, in the data line, in the drop down menu, select the insert option. In the next line, select output to a single SQL file because we want all our exported content in a single SQL file. Finally, you have to specify where you want that file to be stored. Click on the Save menu to specify that and provide a file name. For this example, let's say we say pw.sql is the file that you want to export all this database into. Click Save and go ahead and press Export. You can now it looks like export was successful. Now you can go ahead and close the SQL file, close the export dialog box. Now, just to confirm that it actually created that SQL file, go to the location where you asked it to store the SQL file. In our example, it was my home directory, and the name of the file was pw.sql. Now, we can take a look at what is in this SQL file to better understand how this exporting and importing works. To do that, you can just simply double click on the exported file. It's going to launch a new HeidiSQL instance. You will have to reconnect to your teaching server, to your database server. Then go ahead and click Open. Now, this is the file that was just created. to see what's in this file, you can scroll down and you can see that it starts with a drop table command. It drops any project table that may exist in your database. Then it recreates the project table, which will store the data you just exported. After that, it adds the 6 rows that were there in the project table into the newly created project table. This process is repeated for all 4 tables. Okay. Now, let's say your friend gave you this exported SQL dump, and what you want to do is you want to recreate this database on your database server. To see how to do that, let's go ahead and delete all our existing tables first. To do that, go to the go to the database tab, select all the 4 tables, right click and click drop. Okay, now this database is empty now. Okay, now we are going to recreate the exported database in this empty database. So to recreate them, since it's only a SQL file, we can simply run it on our database. So go ahead and execute the SQL file. Looks like it completed successfully, except there are a few warnings. You don't need to worry about these warnings. They are fairly harmless for this particular example. Now, HeidiSQL doesn't always refresh the structure tree of the database after it created new tables. So you have to do it manually. To do that, go to this refresh, go and click on this refresh button, and you'll see that on the left hand side all your 4 tables have been recreated. All right, so that was the entire demo, and I hope that's helpful. Now you know how to export and share your database with your friends. Let me know if you have any other question.